Good afternoon, Mark Sudduth, HurricaneTrack.com here with your Hurricane and Hurricane HD video blog for November 6, 2012. No hurricanes to be looking for today, but we do have this powerful upper-level storm system that's coming in that'll create the surface low that'll become this nor'easter that everybody's been talking about now a week after Hurricane Sandy impacted the mid-Atlantic and northeast coast up here off the satellite shot. This is much more upper-level energy coming in to the scene rather than entraining tropical energy down in the Caribbean like we had with Sandy. If we look at a water vapor image, you can see the upper level energy diving in, creating this low pressure area. A reflection of it at the surface will form, and then up the coast it'll ride, bringing heavy rain, possibility of snow, strong winds along the coast, even inland areas, and then of course the possibility of more storm surge flooding. Looking at it on the GFS model, you can see all of this energy pouring into the trough here, creating this low pressure area. Very typical, very classic nor'easter setup. The surface reflection of that, you can see the low by tonight taking shape off the Carolina coast, and then it'll ride right up the east coast, and where it tracks is really going to determine who sees what kind of effects, whether it's farther out to sea, meaning maybe a lessening of the effects from wind, but then you drag the snow line closer to the coast, so sort of pick your poison. If we go out into time, tomorrow afternoon, we see a pretty well-defined comma shape on the low-pressure area here, depicted by the GFS, not far off the mid-Atlantic states. Heavy rains possible along the immediate coast. Very strong winds, maybe up to storm force. We see this big chunk of high pressure coming out of Canada with the low pressure down here in the mid-Atlantic. The squeeze play between the two, very similar with Sandy, as it will be with this situation, that you have that gradient, the difference between the high pressure and the low pressure, creating a stiff onshore flow. Stiff is an understatement. Gale force to storm force winds, anywhere from 40 to maybe 60 knots, depending on the track and the intensity of the low pressure area. Finally, as we head out towards Thursday, this is 36 hours, the low pressure might start to weaken by that point. It just depends on which model is going to be correct. The Euro is a little bit more bundled and farther east. The GFS tries to shed some of the energy and keeps the surface low weaker and closer to the coast. And then at 48 hours Thursday morning, you see that it starts to really unwind, which is good news in one respect, but it still has it close to the coast here. Some of the energy kind of escaping off to the northeast. I'm not sure if I buy that. The Euro tries to just take it on up and out. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. But the bottom line, if we look at the impacts expected all along the coast up here, where this entire region was affected by Hurricane Sandy, with that massive surge that came in across this area, once again, that onshore flow, as the low goes by, will bring another round of surge, high waves right up the coast, the potential of more damage and more tidal flooding and more loss of life if people don't take this seriously. A slew of different watches and warnings across the area. The best thing to do, and my recommendation here, I think of how I can help the most, is go to weather.gov, weather.gov, put in your zip code, and then look for this box. I talked about this recently. Look for this box right here on the return page. It is the hazardous weather conditions page, and then click on whatever you're interested in. Coastal flood warning, high wind watch, hazardous weather outlook, you name it, and that will give you specific information that you want to know for your area. When is the highest tide expected? When is the watch warning information supposed to expire? When can we expect the highest wind speeds? How about rainfall? What kind of impact can I expect for my community? That is found at the National Weather Service site on the hazardous weather conditions page. You just have to know where to look. So go to weather.gov, put in your zip code, and then look for that red and white box, hazardous weather conditions, and click on those particular pieces of information, and you'll find what you're looking for. And it can be very helpful to at least provide you with the info that will allow you to understand more about what you're up against. And I think the better you understand it, the better prepared you can be. At least, you know, you can have a mental understanding of what's coming, and that might help out. It might, you know, at least alleviate a little bit of stress. You never know. Information is the key. Again, I'm Mark Sudduth. HurricaneTrack.com is my website. Always my pleasure to provide these videos to you. I'll be back again with more tomorrow.